What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the LG V40. I'm going to be making a case on why I think this is one of the best smartphones in the $200 price range that you should be trying to pick up, if not now, in 2020. Most definitely if you're looking for a phone that is relatively cheap. So let's go ahead and get into a sort of this updated video on the V40. I have a ton of videos on the V40 already, so just type it in the box, search box, Matthews Tech V40. But let's go ahead and start off with the price. So looking at the price of the V40 right now on Amazon, I would not buy this phone brand new, because if you get it brand new, you can get a V50 for around that same price. As you can see, $319. So I really wouldn't do that. Now I really like where it is right now in the refurbished used space, and again, you can find it cheaper on eBay, but I always have really good quality on Amazon, so I usually just recommend that. But as you can see, $224 on Amazon. I would stay away from the Sprint version because I don't know if you guys know, but Sprint is doing some merger with T-Mobile. I haven't really read into it, but they are doing some merger sort of thing, so that is why the V40 has not gotten the Android 10 update, because this is a Sprint version and it's still stuck on Android 9. So if you are looking at like the cheaper one, you're trying to be like a little bit cheaper or a little cheap, don't do it. Just get the 224, the AT&T T-Mobile, and you'll get Android 10 like right out of the box. So you're getting much better hardware with the V40 than you would a normal budget phone. Most phones around the $200 price point, they're going to be plastic. The V40 is a glass and metal phone, and it definitely feels super premium in the hand. I love the feel of this phone. It does kind of pick up fingerprints with this color, but overall I just really love the design on here. It is pretty, solid. So basically, just to go over, we have our power button, SIM tray slot right here. We also have the volume rocker, and you also have the Google Assistant button right here. So if you just tap that button, it'll bring up the Google Assistant. Down below, we also have the headphone jack. We have a single firing speaker and USB Type-C. The important thing about the headphone jack is you do have the quad DAC. So if you're a serious music listener, then the V40 does support very high quality audio. So once you plug those in, you'll have the hi-fi quad DAC option, and you also have your DTS 3D surround sound as well. So if you're really into audio, then you'll definitely love the V40 here. Alright, so let's talk about the display. So you have a POLED HDR10 6.4 inch display. It's 1440p, 537 for the PPI, and it's an absolutely beautiful display. Of course, you have the notch right here, which you can hide with the software if you're not a big fan of the notch. But the reason why it's there, or they make good use of it, because you do have a dual camera setup up front, which is really nice. But overall, for the display, you have thin bezels. Overall, you usually don't have an OLED display or AMOLED display on phones that are around $200, so that's why this is such a great deal. There are some exceptions like the A51 or the Bolden one. Those phones do have it, but overall they don't have the 1440p and the such high pixel density. This phone does pretty good with outdoor use as well, so it's fairly bright, and like I said, the colors are really vibrant, and the blacks are really deep, so you can take advantage of the always on display on here as well. So display is definitely a steal on here. One of the best things about this phone, and like I said, with that high PPI, the text and everything, it's just super sharp on this phone as well. Alright, so this one has, of course, Android 9 because it is the Sprint variant. So do note that when you get yours, it will have Android 10, of course. And the only thing I don't like about the Android 9 software with the LG Skin is the settings menu. It's just really messy and just kind of weird compared to the Android 10. But overall, the software experience is great. You have your Google Now page to the side for your news and stuff. Absolutely love it. Wish it was standard on all Android phones. And the software itself is not laggy. It works just fine. You have your screen recording built in here as well, which is really nice. And everything is pretty much standard, so it's very clean version of Android. It's just the settings menu is not the prettiest. So the V40 has the Snapdragon 845, and it also has 6 gigs of RAM, which is plenty enough for multitasking and bouncing in and out of applications, and also gaming. So I did a full gaming test. Gaming on this phone is perfectly fine. You can play pretty much any game on high settings, which is really nice. So Call of Duty, Fortnite, PUBG, the three main ones, you can play just fine. So there's no game or application that I haven't been able to run on the V40. So do note that, you know, a great gaming device, as you can see from the footage, and also the OLED display just makes everything pop and just look really, really good. So overall gaming experience, if you want to use this for that, it's really great. It does not have heating issues like I encountered with some other phones, so that was a really nice touch. So gaming so far since I've had the phone has been pretty good. You have micro SD support on here, and that is really good because the base model on the V40 is like 64 gigs. So that is a little low by today's standard, but you can always just pop an SD card in here. And I don't have a ton of stuff on here, so I still have pretty much a good amount of data on here. So just do note that if 64 gigs does not sound like a lot, don't worry about it. You can get an SD card and expand that storage, no problem. I do want you guys to hear the speaker. So it's a single firing speaker, and it sounds really great. It's a boombox speaker. And somebody asked about like this. This is a beat that I made on my beat channel. I don't really promote, but something I do on the side sometimes. And this movie is from the Psycho movie. It's like a classic horror movie. Somebody was asking me where the movie was from, which I thought everybody's seen this movie, but yeah. So let me show you guys the speaker quality, and then I'll put it like down so you guys can hear like the boombox effect, hopefully. So as you can hear, it got significantly louder, especially with the mids and highs, and the bass. You can just hear it much louder when you put it down, which is something that I really like. So overall, the speaker quality on this phone is really good. Okay, so let's talk about some additional features. So you do have NFC on this phone, of course, and you do have an IP rating on this phone. I believe IP68. So you can get this phone wet if you accidentally like drop it in the toilet or anything like that. It should not break immediately. So let's go ahead and talk about getting into the phone. So you have two options. You have your face unlock option, which is very fast, and then you have your physical fingerprint, which works very fast as well. I've never had an issue with it. And if you don't like this method, you have your face unlock, and you have your pattern pin combo as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the cameras on the V40. So we have a triple camera setup. It's a 12 megapixel standard, a 12 megapixel telephoto, a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and you also have 4K video, 30 or 60 FPS, and we do have that dual camera setup up front. That is also a 8 megapixel standard, and then the 8 megapixel or the 5 megapixel wide that shoots in 1080p as well. So the pictures are pretty good on the V40. I think it does a much better job with the depth of field and detail than a lot of $200 budget smartphones. So this old flagship definitely does a pretty good job. LG's color science is pretty good with very natural looking colors as well, which is something that I like. You get a lot of detail. Dynamic range is pretty good on here too. White balance is pretty solid. Again, it's not going to be crazy. It's not going to be like the latest phones, of course, but again, for this $200 price point, I was, pretty impressed. You can take some really good photos indoors or outdoors. Like I said, if you like photos that are going to give off a very natural color, then the V40 is definitely where it's at. Yeah, so overall the cameras, I can't really complain or nitpick about anything too much because of what you're paying, and I think it does an exceptional job. And you also have the manual mode on the V40 as well with the camera settings. So if you really want to get technical with the camera, mess with the ISO and do all that stuff, then you can definitely do that with the V40, no problem. So really, really nice camera. Nighttime shots are okay. It's not going to perform, like the latest phones, but you can get a decent shots with this phone. So I really, really like the cameras here. Let's check out the mic quality so you guys can hear that with the video and some outdoor video footage as well. Alright guys, here is what the audio sounds like, and this is what the video looks like. Not too bad, looks pretty good. You can also use the depth sensor to get in closer. And then let's go ahead and bounce out. So how good is the battery life on here? So you have a 3,300 milliamp battery, 18-watt fast charging and wireless charging on board. So battery life is going to be okay. It's not one of those phones that's going to be like a beast with battery life. But I usually get around 6 hours and 30 minutes to 7 hours of screen on time. Now I have a drain test, and my drain test I believe did 7 hours and 30 minutes, but I think like for real world use, it can do around that 7 hour mark easily, which definitely is about a day for most normal people if you're not like a super hardcore gamer on your phone. But overall battery life is pretty good, and like I said, the wireless charging is definitely a really nice addition. To be able to just put your phone down on a wireless charging pad and to be able to charge is definitely a big plus. So overall I have no complaints. Is there anything I don't like about the V40? Not really, because I always have to look at things from the price point standpoint. So there are like things I could pick out, but honestly it would be pretty stupid because you're paying around 200 bucks. So it's not an actual issue. It would just be little nitpicks. So overall, no issues. It's really almost a perfect phone for this price point. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, V40 users, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.